Hi, I'm Dr. Gary Richter, and welcome to Ultimate Pet Vet. Today we're talking about bones and what to give your dog and what not to give your dog. You know, this is a question that I get a lot in my office, and let's start with the things that are best to avoid. The things that we really want to avoid with dogs as far as bones and things to chew on are things that are either going to be bad for their teeth or things that could become problems digestively speaking. So as far as bad for their teeth goes, probably the worst things out there are going to be cooked bones or antlers. When I say cooked bones, these are the things like when you go to the pet store, they're just sitting there in the bin, ready to be picked up and purchased. Cooked bones or like deer antlers, they are very, very dense, and they're so hard that when dogs chew on them, they actually can break teeth on them. And that's something that we see quite a lot as veterinarians, and frequently broken teeth or teeth that need to be extracted, and that clearly is both painful and expensive. So those products are really best avoided for dogs. In addition to that, any kind of product that your dog might chew on and then swallow a big enough piece that perhaps it could cause some sort of obstruction or gastrointestinal upset is something else that we really should avoid. So rawhides are kind of, can kind of go either way depending on the dog. Some dogs will just sort of quietly chew on a rawhide. If you have the kind of dog that is going to bite off big pieces and swallow whole pieces, that's something that really is probably that you would want to avoid. In addition, rawhides and other things like pig ears and that sort of thing, they're super high in fat. So that's something to also consider when you're giving your dogs these products. On the other hand, something that can be really, really great to give your dog that a lot of people maybe don't think of are raw bones. There's a conception out there that feeding your dog raw bones is bad because it can cause health problems, etc. The reality is that raw bones, unlike the cooked ones, they're actually much softer, and an appropriate sized raw bone for your dog is something that they can actually chew through. And as they're chewing through them, they're actually cleaning their teeth in the process. And as they eat, the little tiny pieces, these are things that, since they're raw, their body can actually digest and absorb, and there's actually some really good nutrition there. We do need to take precautions, both for the sake of your dog as well as for the humans in the house. The biggest and most obvious one is the potential for some sort of bacterial contamination, or like a bacterial illness per se. So the way that you do this is number one, when you give your dog a raw bone, you only want to give it to them for a little while, for maybe an hour or two, and then whatever's left over, you take away and you throw away. This is not something you want to leave laying around the house or the yard for hours or days on end. And again, if you have small children or people in the house that maybe their immune system has some challenges, you want to be real careful about what their exposure is to products like this, just to make sure that everybody stays healthy. Another question that people have is, well, what about chicken bones? There's a conception out there that if a dog were to eat chicken bones, they can splinter, and it's very bad for them. And the truth is, if the chicken bones are cooked, that is true. Those bones actually are very hard and can splinter and can cause a lot of problems with dogs. Raw chicken bones, however, just like raw beef bones, lamb bones, what have you, they're softer. These are things that dogs can chew through. They just have to be appropriately sized for the dog. So we don't want to give them something that's too big that they might, swallow a whole piece or potentially have a hard time getting through. We don't want to give them something that's too small that potentially they could choke on. So it's all very size appropriate. So that's a good primer on the kinds of things that you can give your dog to chew on to keep them healthy and happy. So again, I'm Dr. Gary Richter, and thanks for listening.